before we get to all of that, let's start on the general notes, Honorable Minister. The year is just, maybe we can count hours now to the end of the year. I just want to quickly look back at the year. The good, the bad, the ugly. Do you have any regrets? And what will be your high point as well for the year?
Well, of course, as a human being, ups and downs, and there are challenges, and you are there to solve some challenges. But generally, one would say that it has been very good for us. We have seen a lot of changes in our city, which of course is what people expect us to do. For me, it has been a very tremendous year, even though we may not have achieved what we have set up for ourselves because of one or two, setbacks, So I would say that it's a very good year for us. I will believe by the time we get to next year, the residents of Abuja will see more positive changes in the territory.
And for you as a person, are there moments of regrets? Are there things that maybe on reflection now you could have done differently?
Like I said,
in the last 1 year.
Like I said, I'm human. I mean, you don't expect things to be smooth all the time, But I don't have any regrets. Every role I've taken, everything I've set out for myself, I've been able to achieve it. Yes, there could be one or two setbacks, like I've said. It's bound to happen, but I have no regrets. Every decision I've taken, I have no regrets.
Not even the encounter with a young man, a young naval officer?
That's what I'm saying. These are things that you expect in governance. That shouldn't be why you should regret. No. These are the things that in governance these are things you expect to see. And then if that happens, that shouldn't be why you say there are problems. No. These are the things you are bound to surmount. And we did surmount it, and so we're happy about it.
I'm sure there's so much to remind the Honorable Minister about this last 1 year.
Yes. One of the biggest developments in the course of this year is the evident fracture of your political party, the PDP. So many people have left your party, making it look difficult for the party to be electable. Do you still see yourself as a committed PDP member? And do you think your party can bounce back from the mass defection from its ranks?
There's nothing that is impossible. But once you are committed to carrying out the based on due process, there's nothing that is impossible. First of all, what is happening to my party is what I have predicted before now. That if things are not done in the right way, this is where we're going to find ourselves. No Nigerian will say that they have not, they didn't know what I said. I have said it severally. And that's what I said. Leadership is very key to anything you are doing. Leadership in association, leadership in government. If the leaders do not take the right decision, this is how it's bound to be. And what do everybody? We have had this kind of issue before, when the party did not collapse. Nobody was affected because the leadership was committed to seeing that certain changes are made in order to keep the party going. But when you have a leadership that is not even focused, a leadership that is very selfish, a leadership that does not understand that in politics is different from a business, and so you are bound to see what you are saying to them. And if they correct themselves, obviously, mind you, this is a party that is known in all grassroots. This is a party that's known in all Nigerians. It's not a new party. From 1999, People's Democratic Party had been in power, and unfortunately in 2015, they lost to the APC and still retained a good number of seats. Also, good presence in the National Assembly. We have a leadership that's not focused. We have a leadership that does not even know what to do. You have a leadership that does not even take any suggestions, and that is where we are. So if the leadership is committed and comes back to say, look, we have made a mistake. Why is it that things are happening this way now? What do we do to correct us? You see, it's not just to take over government. you have to position yourself. If the leadership is right, okay, look, by 2027, it's likely that we may not make it. But are we going to allow the party to die? Can't we start to build up? Let us take the right decision against 2031. It's all dependent on leadership. That's all I would say.
Okay, but let's get into it now then. You're sounding like you want unity and collaboration between leadership, but Seyi Makinde is accusing you of doing the opposite. So if we get into his media chat that happened not too long ago, he mentioned you by name and said in a meeting with the president that you were present and the president's chief of staff was present, that you said to the president that I will hold PDP for you. And then he said that he went with you to the veranda or the balcony and said, this is not what we planned, or this is not what was agreed to. And then he said that if you're free to support the president if you want to, but he is free not to. Now, is that factual? Because he said other people were there.
That's a blatant lie. And that's why, you see, Seyi Makinde has never called me Wike. Never. That's the first time I hear him say Wike. He has never called me Wike one day. It's unfortunate. First of all, you ask yourself, what was that meeting? What was the purpose of that meeting? That would have led me to say, Mr. President, I will hold PDP for you. Why did Seyi Makinde not come up all this while to tell the party, see what Wike is doing? I was in a meeting and see what Wike said. It is not correct. And let me put the record straight. There was no such meeting. Rather, my humble self, the former governor of Benue State, Otom, the former governor of Abia State, Ibazu, the former governor of Enugu State, Ugwaye, and Seyi Makinde, we went to see President.
That's the G5.
Yes, we went to see President to discuss, of course, elections were over, to discuss about certain things. While we were there, the chief of staff, of course, you should know that the chief of staff is always around the president. I was one who said, look, chief of staff, come and show us you can, remind the president of what we have discussed. There was nothing like a meeting. We booked to go and see Mr. President. So you could not, it is completely out of place for anybody to say that in that meeting, I said to Mr. President, I will hold PDP down for you. That's very unfair. Very, very unfair. Totally unfair. And you see, I have told everybody, frustration, if you can see, if you watch Seyi Makinde on that media chat, you can see frustration. And this is a young man we have advised severally. Politics is not like being a contractor with Shell. Politics is not like being a contractor with Mobile. It has different rules. It has different. When did Seyi Makinde come into politics? When did he come into politics? And you see, there's nothing wrong in having ambition. But the ambition must be tailored according to the rules.
Ambition? What do you mean by ambition? Running for president or what?
He has not even had the guts to tell us that he wants to run for president. Let him say that he has told anybody. But we know we are not kids. You see, there are things you can do, and you think that people don't know. People do. They watch you. They follow what is going on. How did PDP enter this crisis? It is Seyi Makinde's ambition. How did we enter the crisis? He went and arranged with some people to make sure that the secretary is ousted. He allowed people to go to State High Court in Enugu. When you know that the State High Court has no jurisdiction over that matter, they got the judgment. No problem. Samaya went to the Court of Appeal. On appeal, Samaya won. We all agreed for the party to move on. Look, convention will be coming. Why not allow this to go on? We have only 1 year. So what are we pursuing? In the convention, you will make sure those who don't want them to come back will not come back. He refused and went to Supreme Court. When he got to Supreme Court, he lost. He still believed that no, Supreme Court said the party has no jurisdiction. Come on, what are you doing? Who appealed to Supreme Court? You and your colleague, you and your co-host have been to Supreme Court and you lost. Until when they went to INEC, INEC told them, listen, as far as we are concerned, in our system, the secretary of the PDP is Senator Sam right? Now, Saraki, we could bear this witness. We have met the Saraki's guest house severally. Fintri, the governor of Adamawa, was there. Bala, the chairman of Governor Forum People, was there. Saraki was there. There's nothing you have agreed to do that Makinde will not go and do a different thing. There's nothing. And this is why we are here today. Because, okay, look at even the convention, for example. The Board of Trustees set up a committee to say, look, what do we do? Committee headed by Wike Adamawa, former governor of Osun State, Oyinlola, former deputy governor and chief of staff to President Jonathan Ogedeme, Senator Zainab Kure, and 2 other people came up with a report. Look, let's not go for this convention. Let's set up caretaker committee. The same Seyi, of course, you know Adolphus Wabara. He has no name. You know he has no name.
But you just mentioned his name.
He has no name. That does not mean that that's the name. They don't know what to move as the Senate president was just bribe of 50 million naira. Everybody is aware of that. He went. They now denied and said, oh, the committee was compromised. There are 2 judgments of the Federal High Court, Justice Omotosho and Justice Little. Substantive judgment, not orders. Seyi Makinde, what says you, frustration can make you do a lot of things that will cause damage. He went to Ibadan State High Court to obtain an ex parte order. State High Court to obtain an ex parte order for them to still go on with that convention. How could an ex parte order override substantive judgment of 2 courts? Of course, he had done his so-called convention. INEC was not there. INEC refused to recognize them. Then, in that same matter, INEC filed a preliminary objection to say that, look, court, you have no jurisdiction over us. Why would we be a party to this? And the court agreed and struck out INEC name. So there was nothing binding on INEC. The same person now had gone to the Federal High Court in Ibadan to recognize them. Recognize the convention we have done. A convention that Federal High Court has said you cannot go ahead and do. You have, after disobeying the court judgment, you've now filed at the Federal High Court now in Ibadan. Now look, recognize us as the legitimate principal officers. That has not been settled. He has gone again to file at Federal High Court in Abuja against police until the secretary said we can use. Why not wait for the Federal High Court to say, okay, you are the legitimate principal officer? So the point I'm making is not, look at where PDP is today. Look at the crisis. Something that would have been easily solved. Listen to the voice of elders. Don't go ahead. Let's form caretaker committee. Today, PDP has no candidate in Ekiti State. Today, PDP has no candidate in Osun State. Now, when you say one-party state, who is making us have a one-party state? If you have listened to people and allowed due process to take place, would the issue of one-party state arise? You are the one who is creating one-party state, and yet you are accusing the government of trying to have a one-party state. Just listen to what people have said and follow due process. By now, we wouldn't have been talking about one-party state. Now, having taken wrong steps that is destroying your party, you are now accusing the other party of wanting to have a one-party state. It doesn't make sense.